All right, what's going on, guys? So here with my client, Juli, and today we're gonna be going through an upper body day with the goal of showing you guys how to train upper body as a woman. So obviously we recognize that not all women have the same goals, but just in my experience and in Juli's experience, a lot of women tend to have the same upper body goals, those kind of being like getting that V taper, you know, getting those more capped side delts, mid-back definition, and then arms. So those are the things we're gonna be touching on today, just kind of showing you guys exactly how to train in order to best maximize your training to transform those areas.
And the biggest thing we want to get across that we talked about in the last video is we train pretty much the same. We just want to put on different amounts of muscle in different places. I'm not looking to put on muscle in my chest, and Evan definitely is. So we're going to train pretty similarly, but just a little bit different. But that's the biggest thing we want to get across, that so many women think they need to train completely different than men. And we've been taught that for years. And today we hope to show you that's just not true.
Absolutely. I mean, it really just comes down to, if you want to achieve that kind of lean toned physique that in our experience so many women are after, it really just comes down to building muscle and losing fat. And so we both have that goal of building muscle as fast as possible, just kind of the amount of overall muscle we want to build being a little bit different and in slightly different areas. But we both have that goal of building muscle as fast as possible. So from a training standpoint, we train the same. The same kind of training is going to facilitate that goal. So. And
if you really want that hourglass look, that shape, make sure you're putting on muscle in that upper body to get that full shape. So we're gonna do it today.
Oh yeah, let's do it. This is obviously a great side delt movement, but also mid-back because it's gonna hit lower traps.
I definitely feel like I'm more in like a YMCA vibe, and yours
fine.
Is a little further out.
So if you go a little bit more wide, you're gonna get a little bit less lower trap, a little bit more rear delt.
Okay.
To go a little bit higher up, you're gonna get a little bit more lower trap. That's fine.
Okay.
It's more so preference, comfort, goals, all that context.
Okay. These are my favorite. These are my favorite shoulder exercise.
I love this movement because it's a side delt movement and a mid-back movement. So two of the goals that women often have in one movement, which is awesome.
Nice, 7. Nice fight. That was a grind.
Holy fuck. Excellent. How's that feel?
Good.
Okay, sweet. Yep. Keep going. One more. One more. Up, up, up. All the way. All the way. Stick it out. Stick it out. Easy. Nice. All right, so that first exercise is the line cable wire raise, which is a phenomenal movement for both the side delts and the mid-back in terms of building muscle, and also for shoulder health, stability, and mobility. I really, really like that movement, and we did that first because the first exercise that you do in a session, you're gonna have a little bit better of a growth stimulus from, because the nervous system is fresher, and you're gonna be able to recruit more muscle fibers. So you want to typically start your sessions with exercises that train priority muscle groups. And one of the things I really like about the line cable wire raise is that it does hit that side delt and the mid-back, which is two of the more popular muscle groups that women in our experience generally want to prioritize. So I really, really like that movement. It's really stable and it really just feels awesome. It's a little bit of kind of an intimidating one to set up just because it is a bit more of an extravagant setup, but so fucking worth it.
I had never tried lying Y raises until I came to Evan, and now it's my favorite upper body day movement. I'm always excited when it comes in my rotation, and it really is intimidating the first time if you've never tried it. Just get D-ring straps because they're a game changer, and then once you try it, you do it a couple times, and it feels like second nature after a while. But it is the best, and you get incredible results from it.
Yeah, and if you're looking for that kind of more sculpted shoulder and the more kind of defined and sculpted mid-back, that exercise is fantastic for building muscle in those areas, which obviously is what contributes to that kind of sculpted look. So next we're gonna move to a lat exercise for you, and building your lats is gonna help with that kind of V-taper, and obviously pairing the V-taper in the upper body with the kind of building out the musculature at the hips, that's gonna create that hourglass shape, basically a single arm lat pull down. I'm gonna coach you through that, and that's gonna really kind of help accentuate that extra and push into the ground to oppose that same direction.
Okay.
I want your brace hand to be relatively in line with the cable, but such that it's comfortable. At the top of the movement, we wanna be neutral or even slightly underhand. This is perfect. Then you want to let that shoulder come forward and up at the top like you are, and then you're driving your elbow to your back pocket. Perfect. Let that shoulder up and forward, pull it down and back, nice. So we don't actually need to go all the way back.
Okay.
Because once the elbow goes behind the torso, we're not really loading the lat anymore.
Okay.
So even just to like there.
Okay.
Perfect. And just make sure you're pulling that shoulder down and back. Excellent. Yes. One more. One more. You got it, you got it. One more. Drive that elbow, drive that elbow. All the way. Nice. One more, come on, come on. Excellent. Perfect.
Nice, 7.
Nice. Really pull that shoulder down. Nice. One more. Underhand at the top. Shoulder comes forward and up at the top. Drive it down and back, down and back, down and back, down and back. Back pocket, pull shoulder down, pull shoulder down. Excellent. Excellent. Non-working side foot goes back. So the cable's kind of running slightly in parallel with your feet. And then you're thinking, scoop.
Okay, that's what I've been thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I really want you to keep your shoulder down.
Okay.
So don't let this happen.
Yeah.
You want to keep it kind of like this. And now it's gonna rise a little bit as you raise. I just don't want to see
Okay.
aggressive. Better,
Okay.
better. And then you want that scoop. Very nice, very nice. Come on. Come on, finish it all the way. We're going for one more. You got it, you got it. Drive it, drive it, drive it. Stick with it, stick with it, stick with it. Oh my God, it's easy. Come on, come on. I'm not gonna help you, I'm not gonna help you, I'm not gonna help you. You're okay, you're okay. Nice. One more. Yep, come on. All the way, all the way, all the way. Drive to the wrist, drive to the wrist, drive to the wrist. Nice. Excellent. We're gonna go one more.
Okay.
Yep. You have it, you have it, you have it. Come on. You've got it, you've got it, you've got it. Just be patient with it, stick with it, stick with it. Come on. You're okay. Oh yeah, keep going, keep going. It's gonna get easier as you get to the top. Nice. Great fucking rep. Squeeze my fingers down here. Excellent, excellent. Nice, that's really good. So this we want soft.
Okay.
This we want hard, so pull down, squeeze my finger here. Yeah, perfect, perfect.
When should you do more time under tension and when should you not? Because I do mine slower than you do.
A lot of times when people talk about time under tension, they just mean control because they're two different things. It's not the right term to use for the question you're asking, and I don't mean that toward you, I mean in general. Most people refer to just being controlled and using a slow tempo with time under tension. So to answer your question, it's about control. As long as you have control and good technique and you're not just flailing shit around and throwing weight around, that's fine. I think for movements like really quad dominant knee movements, like squat, hack squat or something like that, or Bulgarians, we want to be controlled on the way down. Just because over time, if you're bouncing off your knees all the time and you're getting stronger, eventually your knee tendons are going to be like, bro, chill out, give me a little bit more time to catch up, because tendons adapt I think it's like 6 times slower than muscles do. So your tendons are always lagging behind a little bit.
Yeah.
Meaning that your muscles can use more weight than your tendons really want to. So with movements like that, I like to err on the side of slower, just for the sake of making sure your tendons aren't getting pissed off. With a movement like this, it's a little bit less important. I'm just ripping through my warm-ups right now.
Yeah.
That's pretty light, which is why I'm just kind of going quickly. And I am comfortable with this movement, so it's not as important for me to be like really slow and technique focused, because it's a little bit more second nature for me. With this movement, you can be a little bit quicker. Squeeze here. But all the way. Go for one more. Down, 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 down. Good fight. Great job. Working side foot forward, just so you can have a slightly better brace there.
Okay.
Perfect. We're gonna go slow. With this movement, we just wanna make sure we're being really controlled into the bottom. Good pause in the bottom, and then slowly controlled on the way up. Basically, we're gonna have shoulder, elbow, and wrist in a line. Doesn't have to be perfect, but this looks good. Really slow on the way down, get a nice controlled pause in the bottom. We don't have to go to a fully locked out elbow, but that's perfect right there. The reason we're doing this movement is because the biceps have their best leverage right here, closer to where the elbow is fully locked out. And so we want to bias the biceps and not the forearms, because you care about your biceps, you don't care about your forearms.
No thanks.
No thanks. So that's why I really, really like preachers, because the heaviest part of the movement is where the elbow is straighter, and when the elbow is more straight, the biceps are going to be dominant as far as the muscle that's going to be curling the elbow.
Versus doing what kind of bicep curl?
A standard bicep curl is going to be, with a dumbbell anyway, is going to be heaviest here, because that's when the dumbbell is moving perfectly vertically, which is when it's directly opposing gravity. And once you're at about 90 degrees of elbow bend, that's when that forearm muscle starts to really kick on and not take over, but really starts to contribute. And then as you get closer to a bent elbow, that forearm muscle kind of takes over. Excellent. I don't want you to go off as far. Down. Nice. Great, 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 great job. That's good. Nice. Drive through that middle finger knuckle. Yeah, 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 yeah. All the way. Perfect. That's all you. Excellent.
So with my bicep curl, you have me do that really slow, all on the way down, and even holding at the bottom. Is time under tension super important?
So the reason I want you to be slow with that movement is not because we're trying to get more time under tension. It's just because that's a movement, kind of like I said earlier with the squat patterns, that we want to really emphasize control and technique, just for the sake of the tendon, making sure we're not outpacing the adaptation of the tendon. When people talk about time under tension and it being important, they're kind of misunderstanding what that wording means. So time under tension close to failure is what causes growth. So the tension the muscle's experiencing close to failure is the tension that's going to cause the relevant growth that we're looking for. From a standpoint of getting more time under tension, that's just volume, right? So it's like if you start a set and it's 5 reps to failure, then that entire set's going to be close to failure, which means that entire set is going to be time under tension close to failure, which means that's great. There's no point in extending a set unnecessarily to get more time under tension, because if I did a set of 20, we know that the last roughly 5 reps before failure are the ones that are going to produce growth. The ones before that will produce some growth, but not as much, because they're not recruiting as many of those big muscle fibers. And so if you did a set of 20, there's way more time under tension with that set of 20, but there's the same amount of growth, because it's really only those last 5 reps before failure that matter anyway. So all you're doing in that set, by extending the time under tension by doing 15 extra reps, is just creating 15 extra reps worth of fatigue. So a lot of women you'll see doing like pulses and like holds and supersets and tons of volume because they want more time under tension, and they're often using lighter weight and just trying to really kind of just do thousands of reps. That's not a good idea, because lighter weight means we're not recruiting as much of those largest muscle fibers, and so we're getting lots of time under tension, but it's not important tension. So it's lots of time under unimportant tension, and that's why time under tension is kind of vague And it doesn't really work to be like, yeah, more time under tension is good. More time under good quality tension is good, but then you run into the issue of just volume. And again, you don't want to do too much volume. So more is not always better with that either. Yep, come on, come on. All the way, all the way, all the way, all the way. Yeah, great set. Awesome. Come on. All the way, all the way, all the way. Great.
Nice, 7.
So you guys will notice that we only did one set of triceps, and that's because Juli already has really good triceps, and her upper body's just not so much of a priority for her at this point. We've really built that muscle that she was looking for. So now we're kind of taking more so of a maintenance, maybe very small improvement approach to her upper body. We're able to maintain or even improve with just one set. That just goes to show you how little volume you actually need when your training is optimized and you're training hard. I think a really common mistake and thing that I see with women in my experience, and from what we've talked about in your experience as well, is that women are often doing way too much volume, just kind of really caught up in that mentality of like more, harder. And that's just not the case. Like, you have to find that sweet spot and work with your body. If you're always running yourself into the ground, your fatigue's gonna be too high, you're not gonna be able to recover from your training, and your training intensity is going to be lower. Based on what you guys have seen in this video, your training intensity has to be high if you wanna maximize that rate of muscle growth to really change that body composition in your upper body as fast as possible.
When I came to Evan, I was doing normally like 3, sometimes 5 sets, and you just can't go to failure when you're doing 5 sets like that. You just can't work at an intense, just high intensity in the same way. And when I came to him, we cut down to 2, and I immediately started seeing results. Recovered so much better, was in and out of the gym so much faster. And now with upper body, I'm still seeing progress with just 1 set. It's freaking so cool.
Because ultimately what happens is when you're doing more and more volume, you can't train as hard like you just said. So your efficiency on a per set basis goes down, but you're doing more volume, so you're creating more fatigue. And so you're getting less efficient and creating more fatigue, which doubles as even less efficiency. And that's really kind of the trap that a lot of people fall into. They think more, and it's not really about that. So make sure you're training heavy and make sure you're training hard, really pushing yourself to failure, and you won't need that crazy amount of volume. You're gonna feel better, you won't be as fatigued all the time, you're gonna progress in your training better, and you're not gonna feel as sore all the time. All of these things, those are other areas of benefit when you improve the efficiency of your training. So yeah, you probably don't need to be doing as much volume as you're doing as long as you're really fucking training hard.